Okay, welcome to today's little episode of James' warped brain here. It's warped thinking that I'm on. My mission. Okay? Come to my attention that there's a bunch of people that believe that through talking about this with people, they all seem to agree this is all great information, yeah, great. But really, telling me basically, like, how am I going to make a difference? How does my one little, my one little puzzle piece there, how's that going to make any difference? Right? I mean, how is my actions going to affect reality? They can't get their brain wrapped around this. How is my one little actions in life? How is this going to change reality in these amazing ways? And now we're all going to become enlightened, like I'm talking about. Okay, so the first step of that is number one, you got to believe. Okay, if you truly believe, then you're fine. If you don't believe, then you got to go back to step one. It's like the board game. You got to go back home. You got to start over. You got to redo that whole thing until you start believing. Once you start believing that it's possible, okay, that these things I'm talking about are possible. You have to believe in the possibilities. If you don't believe in the possibilities and you're still stuck in this, mesmerized, I don't believe, I got this single way of thinking that I can't get out of this zone. If you can't get out of that zone, nothing I'm saying is ever going to sink in, and don't even bother coming back and seeing any more videos. First thing you have to do is start opening your mind to a possibility of new ideas, new way of thinking, okay? So the first thing you need to wrap your mind around is that we as humans are all connected, okay? We are all connected. We're like Lego, okay? Humans at their base form are whatever you want to call it. Call it your souls, call it your chakras, call it your energies, call it your auras, call it whatever you want. We are, in fact, at our base form, we're all energy, and that energy is all one big ball of energy. It's all one big electrical ball of energy, okay? It's one big ball. You're just carriers of pieces of this energy. Your physical body and your mind and all this stuff, this physical stuff, this is just a carrier of all that energy, okay? So we're all of the same energy. That's what you have to get your brain wrapped around. You, your brother, his brother, your enemies even, they're all part of that same energy field. And we're all interacting with this energy field all the time. All this energy's flowing back and forth, and good or bad, and yin and yang, and all this crap, that's all to do with the energies. All to do with that. So you are a carrier, okay? You've been given this special purpose as a human being, this wonderful thing that you've been given, this physical ability, this life that you've been given. You've been given the ability to carry a piece of that energy. You're a carrier of that, okay? You're a carrier. You're a piece of the bigger puzzle, okay? The bigger picture. You're one little piece of the bigger picture, okay? The whole picture is made up by all of us. And we have to think of all possibility in order to understand that, okay? So you've been kept in a belief system that leads you to believe to the conclusion that you're only responsible for the outcome of your own actions, when in fact that's not true. In fact, your actions, your single actions, your daily actions, okay, every action that you make makes a difference, because that action, in other words, is a path, okay, is a path that's been taken in the realm of all possibility, okay? Every decision you make is a path. It's a path that's been taken in the realm of all of our this collective energy field that we live in. We all live in the same energy field. We're all physically part of the same energy field. So that's a decision that's been made, whatever that decision may be, in all possibility, which we are all part of. We are all possibility. Okay? And there's always millions and billions and trillions of decisions being made in our realm of possibility all the time across the planet. Billions of calculations a second. Think of it as a big computer. The world is a big computer. All these bits and bytes are all the decisions that are being made, and different outcomes, okay, different perceptions of reality. Different realities manifest themselves, okay. Will war happen? Well, war will happen if enough of this energy is concentrating its belief system that's the path that we're going to decide. We all have that, we come to the decision to go war, or do we go, everybody's got this all the time. Do you want war, or do you want peace? You know what I mean? And because we're carriers of all the same energy, the more people, the more decisions that are being made to go one way or another, okay, that affects the whole energy field. Okay, that affects the direction in which the path of life, or the book of life is written. We're all authors, right? Like we talked about earlier, we're all authors on this book of life, and that's how that comes into play. Is that each decision that we make in our own singularity, is affecting this whole energy field. Okay, it's affecting the path in which direction we'll take. We've always, we're always at a crossroads continuously. There's millions of crossroads going on, and certain individuals are going certain directions. And think of it as a mail sorting system in a post office, and the mail's flying through all these different little channels, and it's going to different areas. And one certain area of mail might build up big, and that becomes the most impressionable or the most believable conception of what reality is on the planet. Okay, so try and wrap your head around that. I know you might want to go get a beer. You might need some mind enhancing things to get your mind wrapped around this. I'm fine. I'm good. I might probably smoke about 20 cigarettes here. So that's how we got to start off. We got to believe that and get an understanding and open your mind to this possibility and this beliefs that we're all part of this energy at its base form. Like if we, for example, take the physical body away, take that away. Don't think that there's any physical bodies left. There's no bodies on the planet. No actual arms, legs, none of that. No bodies, none of that. All that's left is the energy. Okay, everything is energy. Everything as you know it, like we talked about before. The computer I'm looking at, this here, the keyboard and everything. It's all energy. Okay. So once you understand that you're energy and you're part of the collective energy, you start to maybe get a concept on how you might have the ability to make differences within the whole energy field. Okay. Now, so because we're all part of that same energy, we're all connected. So your single actions, they make a difference. Now, how big of a difference? Well, maybe a lot bigger than you might imagine. Okay. And in order to put this into perspective, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about how hologram works. Okay, holograms. And the reason I bring that up is because there's a lot of science going on right now, and you can look this stuff up. Go ahead and type it in there, and go into YouTube, or you can go in Google and just type in holographic universe. Okay, all kinds of information out there, and there's a lot of top scientists working on these theories right now. They're starting to get their thinking going in a new direction here about how the universe is perceived and our perception of the universe and how everything is coming together. And there's some real. You think my rabbit hole goes deep here? You think I'm a little kooky? Okay, you got to read some of this stuff. So this is some really, really interesting, really, really kind of cool, really neat stuff. So in order to get your mind wrapped around that, we got to talk about holograms for a minute. Okay. And how your puzzle piece, how your little piece fits in. Remember, we were talking about you're a puzzle piece of this entire reality, this entire all possibility. Okay, well, we have to think of it as a hologram for a minute. Think of all possibility. Okay, think of that as a holographic picture. Now, if any of you have ever seen what the image looks like of a hologram, before they shine a light on it in a specific way, okay. A holographic image just looks like a bunch of gobbledygook. If you look at it, it's just a big scrambled thing. It doesn't look like a picture whatsoever. You can't make any sense of it. Your perception cannot do anything with it. You look at it and it just looks like abstract stuff. Okay? It doesn't look like anything that you would interpret as a picture of any kind. But when we shine a light on it in a specific way, all of a sudden, boom, this holographic image, this three-dimensional image appears. Once we shine the light in a specific way, once we look at things, once we give ourselves a mode of perception of that gobbledygook, of this crap that we're looking at, we can't understand it, our brain doesn't get it, but if we put a light on it, it gives us a new perception, okay, of what is being represented there, okay, and that representation could be something beautiful. It could be, it could be a house, a horse, a picture, a sunset, whatever. Could be a beautiful picture of some type. A nice three-dimensional image, something that's pleasing to the eye. But the original image, to look at it without the light being focused on it in a specific way, it just looks like a bunch of garbage. You wouldn't know what it was. Okay. So, if we were to take that holographic plate, that picture, that stamping of this gobbledygook, and take a piece out of it. Okay. Now think of the holograph image, that gobbledygook. That's the collective. That's everybody on the planet. Okay. We're all on this flat plate. We're all stamped on there, and we're all mismatched together, and nobody can tell what the hell any of that looks like. Okay. Until we shine a light on it in a specific way. And it's that specific way that I was talking about earlier that we've been led to believe. This is the only way to look at this image. Government's up here, well, fucking bad people. They're saying, okay, this is the only perception that we'd like you to be in. You know, get a job, get a house, do this, do that, do all these things, you know, monetary society, all that crap. This is the direction that they want to focus everybody's attention on, is this one type of beam of light. Do not go outside this beam of light. Stay in here, way the fuck over here in the negative beam of light. Okay? Because this is what's feeding this shit over here. Okay? So they're focusing our energy on this right from birth. We're told, look at this image in this specific light zone. Okay? Say, for example, the red, green, and blue are possible. Well, we've been told only to look through it through the red lens. That's all you could see right now. Until you become enlightened, you're only looking at that holograph, that image, in one beam of light. Okay? So getting onto this holograph thing. We take that holograph. We're all a part of that. We're all a part of that plate. Okay? So if we take a piece out of that, we take that holographic plate and we take a chunk out of it. Okay? And, for example, we manipulate it. Okay, we take that piece and if we were to look at it under a microscope, that piece, our mind would tell us, well, I just took a piece of this picture away, so I've basically just took maybe it was a sunset and there was a beach there, and all I did was take a little piece out of the beach, so that's not going to make a difference in the image, right? Who cares? One little piece of the beach in the corner, nobody's even going to notice that, so how the hell does my little piece even fit into this puzzle? Not true. Because of the holographic theories and the way holograms work, and if this science is true, this makes start to make a lot of sense in my mind, and it might in yours if you start to, you know, look some of this stuff up in the holographic universe, because it goes it goes with a lot of what I've been saying. What happens if we take a chunk out of that and we manipulate that chunk? Well, if you were to look at that piece closely, it's not just one little piece of the beach. In fact, the piece of that hologram that you just took out is a reflection of the entire image. It's the entire image in that one little piece you took out. Every little piece of a hologram of that plate is a duplicate of itself. Many millions and millions of thousands, whatever, how many's in them, depends on the size of the hologram you're trying to create, but millions of little pieces. And all those little pieces are really a whole within themselves. They all affect the entire picture. So when we go to put that light in that specific way now, again, back in this image, once we've manipulated that piece of that holographic image, we've put it back in now, but say we've manipulated it in some way, that change doesn't just change the beach or a piece of the corner or some piece that you can't tell makes any difference. That piece that you took out and you manipulated and put back in, it changed the entire image. Okay? The whole fucking thing changes. So, here's where it relates to what I was saying earlier about your single decisions that you make in your life and things like this, to find enlightenment on your own, or whatever that may be to you. Just follow a greater path to try and be friendly, to help them. We're talking about helping people across the street. These little tiny things, they make a difference. They make a big difference on the entire picture. And what happens is that at first, there's a few little changes that get made to this picture, okay? And things start to get skewed, and this is what we're talking about. This is what's happening now. Images are starting to get skewed. People are starting to think, oh, well, wait, hold on. Maybe the picture isn't what we thought it was. Okay, and that's great. That's what we want. This is what's happening with this movements we're starting to see. Unfortunately, it's starting mostly in these poorer countries. Like I was saying earlier, usually it's the poorer countries, of course, that try and rise up first, whatever. And, but we're getting it. It's coming to North America. I'm certainly feeling it. I know there's other people feeling it. Everybody's feeling these changes that need to be happening, these changes that need to be made. And how does your little change, that you start changing your way of thinking? If you just personally start, you don't have to change everybody else's mind. Hopefully you can. Hopefully you can make a video and maybe one more person other than you will change their mind, or 10 or 15 or 20, or who knows. Maybe a whole bunch of people will start looking at things differently, and we'll change this very quickly. But what I'm saying is that each individual little piece of that holographic image that we're living in, this holographic reality that we're led to believe is the truth, little changes, tiny little changes that individuals make huge changes over the entire image. So, if we change enough pieces, little images, if we take enough of those images and we manipulate them in better ways and put them back in, pretty soon we have no idea what the original image looked like. It happens quick. Just like I was saying before. We change enough of those little pieces, and boom, the entire image, the entire holographic image changes so rapidly and so drastically that we may not have any idea what the original image even looked like. And that's what we want, right? We want to create this change. But that's how your individual way of thinking, opening your mind and realizing that you're all part of this all possibility, all part of this holographic image, okay? Your individual decisions and your individual things that you do in life change the whole picture. You have a huge, 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 huge piece in this changing of the entire image. Because we are all of the same energy. We're all of that same original picture before the light got shined onto it. We're all that same picture. We're all that same image. We're just repeated. We're repeated 1,000 times over. We're humans. We're carriers of that same image. We're all carrying that same image within us, and it's the decisions that we make that decide what that holographic thing is going to look like when the light gets shined on it. What's going to appear? What's going to appear is whatever it is that's written on those individual little squares, and you're all part of that. So that's my little piece of something to wrap your mind around for tonight. Have a good night.